Hey, this is your girl Tysheen, and I'm back with another video. Yes, we're gonna be reacting to what I dislike about USA after 6 years living abroad. I like to hear these type of things. But everyone pretty much is saying the same thing, you know, as far as, you know, the food, the law, and all these other stuff. But I still like to hear different other people experience and what they've learned. So let's get straight to it.
Good morning, guys. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I dislike about America after living abroad for 6 years. Last video was about the positives, now the negatives. And a little background, I've traveled to 85 countries, lived in 4. And one caveat, this all comes from my personal experience. When comparing countries, it's tough. There's not one label you can put on places. You know, what I'm saying doesn't apply to everyone, obviously. So go in knowing that it's not black and white. There's a lot of gray here. But I'm gonna bring you into the main things that stick out to me after coming back to the States. Number one, media. Wow, it's really gone down the toilet, the mainstream media in this country. Really bad. If it was nutrition, it would be the choice between Captain Crunch and Fruit Loops. And imagine trying to be an athlete living off that diet. Well, the media is sort of like that in the knowledge space of what the world is like and what the country is like. They're doing a huge disservice for our collective psyche. They're not interested in our psychological well-being. They're not interested in building a better country. They're only interested in ad revenue and division.
This is a money. They don't care about the people. All they care about is making money. That's the most important thing. They don't care about the people. They really don't.
Division and negativity makes more money. So I think in 100 years or so, people are going to look back on society and say, wow, there was actually a point in time where the model of the media was to pit people against each other through half-truths, through fear, through manipulation. By doing so, they'd make more money. And by also doing so, the end result is they do detrimental harm to society. And they're gonna look back and say, wow, what was wrong with those people in 2021? That's how I feel right now. The media, in a way, a lot of the media is like a brand that's sold out. I think of my Samsonite bag I used to have. I had it for 12 years. This thing was properly abused all over the world. And finally it quit. But I got 12 years of use out of it. It was a really good bag. And I'm like, well, that's a great brand. I think I'll buy another one of these bags. In week 2 of my Samsonite bag, the wheel fell off. And I lost all my good feelings about that brand. I feel that's the same for
Of course, because they don't, you know, I talked about this so many times. They don't make things to last long. It's all about making money. Because why would they want to make something where you're going to keep for 12 to 20 years? That means you're not going to buy anything else from them. So they're going to find ways to, like, not make it last 12 years, okay? They're going to try to figure it out to try to buy the most cheapest thing they could get and sell it to you. I've noticed that for years. So this is nothing new to me.
A lot of the big names in media who even 5 years ago and definitely 10 years ago had credibility, were looking for objective truth, wanted to do the right thing, had integrity, out the window now. The good thing about this is I think many people are waking up to this fact. Number 2.
I've been woke since years ago. Since years ago. Some of these things are not new to me. Politicians
are doing a wonderful job dividing us Americans. And so whether it be the Nancy Pelosi's or the Mitch McConnell's, they're pretty much the same people. They do not have our interest in mind. They have their interests in mind. They have their backers' interests in mind. And so what they're doing is putting us against each other when what we should be doing is collecting ourselves and going against them. Number 3, curiosity. A lot of Americans are curious, but a lot aren't. And it's easy to get stuck in our information silos, in our cultural silos. It happens for me, and the longer I'm away from society, the longer I'm on the internet, it's like my curiosity dissolves to some degree. You know, I find myself looking in the same spaces. You know, we get stuck in our digital realities, which, look, I've found do not match what's going on, you know, on the streets in America. Downtown San Francisco today, this is Sunday morning. It's really quiet these days. Lots shut down.
Wow.
And it doesn't look much different on Monday morning. Okay, 4, racism. This last year, we've been told America is one of the most racist places on the planet. Well, at least the media is telling us that. The very interesting thing is, when I get on the ground here, whether that could be in the South Bronx, in New York City, I could be in Queens, where it's mostly Southeast Asians, could be with the Hasidic Jews, every different group here, zero problems connecting, talking with people on an equal level, zero tension between us being from different backgrounds. And so to be told that, you know, we're all pitted against each other, if you look online, on the, you know, at the news, well, it's not how I felt on the ground as far as coming from a different background and making it happen in this country and not being excluded. I do believe if you want it bad enough and you're hardworking, this place lets you achieve what you want to achieve with the least amount of tension from being from somewhere else. And I'm not discrediting anyone's racist experience. That happens. It's disgusting. It sucks. We need to get to less of that. But overall, America is one of the least racist countries I've been to. Number 5, fear. The US lives in a lot of fear.
They feed off of fear. Fear makes money. If you know what I'm trying to say, fear makes money. So they put fear on us, you know, so yeah.
I think more than any country I've been to, people fear sometimes the littlest things. Now, there is a reason to be fearful of what's going on in society, and if you lost your job, and if you're broke, there's legitimate reasons to be fearful about life, but there are also other reasons. I mean, sometimes people make the biggest issue out of something that shouldn't even exist. For example, I know a guy, he was talking about going into nature, like getting out of the cities because of COVID. I said, go to Joshua Tree National Park. It's beautiful, and there are all these dirt roads in the north side of it. Not many people go to. You can really get away from people, get lost. And he's like, well, what if I get a flat tire? He's got a new SUV. Okay. You get a flat tire, what happens? Do you change it? Okay. Is that the worst thing that happens? You put the spare on? Or maybe you have to call someone? Whatever. Anyways, in my opinion, quite an unnecessary fear.
Yeah.
Fear with the COVID. I mean,
he's letting that stop him from enjoying life. Going somewhere quiet and just get away from people. Stop thinking about all that unnecessary stuff. Just go. Stop worrying about your car's gonna break down. Just go. Enjoy yourself. It's
nothing anyone's happy about. There are people dying. There are people suffering from it. It's a real issue. But for example, in this environment, when there's zero chance of me getting COVID, do I need to be fearful right now? No. The interesting thing is there are a lot of people that, at least it seems to be in my neighborhood, that are even fearful in these environments. Or if someone's, you know, 30 feet away with both people with a mask on, you know, they're scared. You can see it in their eyes. Number 6, lack of purpose / meaning. I think that's a Western world problem at the moment. You know, what do we find meaning in? It's tough, especially now when we're locked inside and stuck on the digital platforms. Like, what's the purpose?
Look at the people. Look right there. Those are people who are homeless that lives in tents, as you can see. So you'll see so many of that, especially in LA. I don't know what's the name of that strip there, but man, oh man, so many homeless people, and it's homeless people is a lot. There's a lot going on, especially here in America.
Of it all, and if you don't have religion or some like very firm beliefs that you follow, you know, what gets you up every day and gives you purpose, and that's a tough problem society's dealing with right now. I think that's, you know, everyone has to find purpose / meaning, and it's specific to them. But if you don't have that, I think things can be very difficult and very alienating and isolating right now. Number 7, entitled mentality. There's a lot of entitlement here.
Yes. Yes.
Caveat: a lot of people are truly suffering, like truly out on their luck, truly in a terrible position. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that talk about how bad their life is as they sit in a nice apartment, watching Netflix, ordering takeout. That type of entitlement. There seems to be a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's also entitlement at the very high end. You know, too big to fail mentality. So if, you know, a company took their risks, whether that be a big bank, an airline, or whatever, when things are good, and then when things aren't so good, they bail out. Yeah.
Number 8, that's so true.
Healthcare.
Oh.
Now, if I have brains.
The number one thing to talk about is healthcare. I already knew that was coming, because we need to talk about that.
Surgery. I'm quite happy to be here in the U.S. Excellent doctors, great healthcare facilities. But on the insurance side of things, it's quite ridiculous.
Yes.
So abroad, I paid $1,100 a year. I had a healthcare plan that covered every country in the world, even Iran of all places, right? But every country. I could even come back and go to the best healthcare and best hospitals in the United States. And so it was $1,100, and my deductible was $2,000. Now back here, $500 a month and a $7,000 deductible. For those that don't know the deductible language, it means basically your insurance doesn't even start paying, it doesn't start working until you spend $7,000 out of pocket first.
Yeah.
And then it starts working, even though you're paying the $500 a month.
Yep.
So that seems to be a problem.
Welcome to America.
No political party really wants to fix. There's too much money to be made in it.
I said that. I said this before. It's not going to change. We could complain about it. The people could try to protest and all that. They're not. They're gonna lose money. They're going to lose money. So they're not gonna stop. I don't think it's never gonna stop, and it might increase even more.
Number 9, free speech. So I've been to countries where people are limited in what they can say. Usually it has to do with politics. So you're in a great conversation, and then there's like this tenseness you can feel. And you can tell that the person wants to continue speaking, but they're scared of speaking. That is a detrimental thing to one's health, to one's sovereignty. And it's something as a country, I know the topics come up this last year quite a bit. It's very important. It's very important that we're able to speak as we think, because repressing it, from what I've seen in the world, doesn't lead to anything good. And then there's also the cultural side of free speech, where people are so scared to stay true to their tune that let's just say they kill the music and they sound like everyone else. It's quite obnoxious just to hear like this monologue of thought about certain issues, you know, what's deemed to be appropriate or correct. And the fear, back to fear, that a lot of people have of just speaking true to their mind. And look, there are serious consequences, unfortunately now. I'm not in corporate America, thank God. But if you are, you know, there's consequences with your job. It's a very dangerous place to be in. Free speech, we have it in this country. It's a beautiful thing. But we need to not let it slip. Number 10, cycles of poverty, whether that be inner city America, parts of inner city America, Appalachia, different parts of the country, people are definitely left out in the cold economically. And these are deep, complex issues, but no politicians seem to really want to address this problem we have in the country. I think the reason is it's going to go way beyond an election cycle. It's going to take way too much work. It's going to take decades, I think, to truly address the problem. And so it's almost like a New Deal type of effort that needs to take place. So when you have, you know, rampant drug addiction, lack of skills, education, all these things, this takes a lot of time. And again, the politicians like to pit us against each other versus address that problem. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle.
That's so true. They're not going to address the problems of what's going on right now. They're not trying to help these people. They're not trying to help anyone here. You are left on your own. If you're not making no money, they don't want to hear anything you have to say, okay? You're just wasting your time.
Nobody seems to really, really deeply care about that issue in this.
It's true. He's telling the truth. I have yet to hear one lie.
Country. And after walking so many of these streets in our cities and so many of the streets in different cities around the world, we have a problem. And look, it's complicated. If someone's into drugs, if they're addicted, how do you get them off? I mean, my dad quit alcohol, you know, when he wanted to quit alcohol. It's not from whatever anyone said to him.
Yeah.
And that's the case for a lot of people. And then if you have, you know, not even you know, the ability to write or English language skills, people need purpose, back to purpose, right? They need employment.
That's so true. I don't mean to stop it right here, but he's right. Like, okay, somebody get off of drugs. What's going to happen next? Are you going to help them get a job? Or are you going to help them get housing? Like, what are you going to do for that person? Because you could get somebody off the drugs, you know, but then they'll be right back on the street. You know what I'm saying? Now they're going to go back to drugs again. And then you have someone just do some crazy stuff. Like, you know, it's not going to stop. We could talk about this. We've been talking about this for years. This is nothing new. Yeah, this is 2022, and we're still talking about the same thing.
Okay, what's that job going to be? They need housing, obviously. They need yes. training. They need some sort of family.
Yes, they support.
Community.
Yes.
The only way out of this is to put a massive effort forward. So there's also, you know, people that are in these communities where they don't have.
The cost of living also plays a role in it too. It's getting worse and worse. Okay, it's getting worse. I don't see it getting any better. You know, you got these people who are homeless. They don't have a good job, and if they do get a job, the job is not going to pay enough. They're going to be struggling. They might go back on drugs, end up losing their job and their place, and they're going to go right back on the street. So, you see where I'm going with this? It's the same thing over and over and over. It's not going to stop, and it's not getting better.
Opportunity, you might just have to leave. I did. I moved out of the countryside of Vermont. I don't know what I would do there for work, right? So, you know, the good thing I will say is in the US, if you have the skills, you can move and figure something out. It's not like there's a lack of opportunity. It's just if you don't have the skills, what do you do?
Yeah.
Okay, San Francisco, this is probably the best place to be homeless. If there's such a thing, this is the best place to be homeless because the most is given to them. That's not a solution. It just attracts more homelessness.
It is.
It doesn't fix an actual problem.
No.
So we need to get to the ground level of this issue as a country. But
this is something they don't want to talk about. Even though, you know, it's so crazy. When it comes to politics, all these presidents always say the same thing. They sound like robots. We're going to help the poor. We're going to help people. We're going to create all these jobs and all these stuff. They say all of this stuff to make it sound good. But are they actually helping people?
That really pains me to come back because it's only getting worse. And again...
This is my first time seeing this video, and I'm telling you, I said it. I said it. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this for years. This is nothing new to me. I've seen it with my own eyes. I already see it. You pay attention to your environment, and you look around, and you're like, what's going on? What is really, really going on here?
the politicians don't seem to really care about the deep dive on this issue. Number 11, sellouts. I feel like there are a lot of sellouts in this culture. And that could be online, just pushing fear narrative nonstop. I know this is a negative video, but this is about as negative as I get. Usually I'm an optimist with my content. But the fear narrative, pitting people against one another, that's pretty profitable. You have the NBA selling out to China, Hollywood selling out to China, not holding any values or principles, but just selling out for money, obviously.
For money.
It's really sad to see that in this country because it's actually, that's a corrosive energy that harms all of us. Number 12, lack of compassion, empathy. I've always found the US to be a very friendly, open place, but it's definitely the most tense at the moment. And, you know, understanding where someone is coming from, you know, why they vote for a certain person, why would they do that? You know, just having the curiosity to see what are their motives behind what they do, and not coming in from, I'm better than you, you have to defend yourself, but come in from, I'm interested in you. I want to know why you think this way. And quite often when you hear someone out, it makes a lot of sense. But we're living in an illusion somewhat right now. We're all seeing the world through what's being presented to us through a screen.
Yeah.
And everyone has an objective. And knowing what that objective is a good thing. And back to the news, it's like not always what they're reporting, it's quite often what they're not reporting. And why are they not reporting that story?
Of course.
And it's because they have an objective. They want you to think a certain way.
Of course. TV, the news is a way of trying to control the people, control their way of thinking. So, you know, everybody watch the news, they go by what they saying on the news, but there's certain things they're not going to say. Okay? So, yeah.
And what's my objective here? My objective is
they pick and choose what they want to say.
In this channel, I want you to see the world at you know, on a tangible ground level and make your own opinion. I don't want to force it, whatever, down your throat and tell you how to think. Exactly. With that said, I have a view of the world. I'm mostly an optimist. I like different people from different places. I like different stories.
Me too. I'm the same way.
Stories, and there might be a bias in that, but I'll be straight up with you on that. My goal and my objective is to be completely authentic, as best as I can be, and not try to hide the truth. It's the search for truth, which is somewhat of a moving target, as we know. Number 13, COVID, the COVID divider, I like to call it. It's like this pandemic should have brought us together. Like, why would it not bring us together? We all have to deal with it. No one's immune from it. But it's actually done the opposite. It's become political, unfortunately. And in my neighborhood in San Francisco, wow, it's like it's lost all humanity. Nobody looks at each other. Everyone seems to be scared of one another. Even going on a hiking trail can be stressful, even when you're masked up. Like when I'm around people, I'll go masked up. But even with that, people look at you as like a threat.
I miss like just a simple thing like smiling to somebody, you know. If I bump into them and I say I'm sorry, you know, I have to smile, you know. Can't even do that because you don't know what they, you know, they can't see your face. So like
it's like, come on guys, we all have to deal with this. Nobody wants to, so let's smile at each other, say hi. Be compassionate. Yes. It's really something that should bring us together and not be a political thing. For example, I have my mask down. You know, if I'm 100 feet away from someone outside, fine, I'm having my mask down. I'm not wearing it. And someone called me a Trump supporter because I had my mask down. And it was like, okay, what? Even if I was, which I'm not, what the hell does that have to do with my mask?
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
At all. It's ridiculous.
I don't get that one.
Yeah, let's get beyond this stupidness we're in right now. So you live down here though?
Yeah, I've been here for 25 years.
What's the feel? What's the feel at the moment?
So the feel at the moment is, you know, like I said, it's a ghost town. Literally all of these buildings you see downtown, every single one of them, all the way down from basically 5th Street down to the Embarcadero, are literally completely empty, including Salesforce Tower, Facebook Tower, my building, which is right next to Salesforce.
Wow.
They're all totally empty. And you know, they spent all that money and all those billions of dollars on building all these skyscrapers, and now they sit empty. And they're literally telling everybody it's a new work-at-home world and get used to it, and you're never going to leave your house now and stay in lockdown. And dude, 7-Eleven is closed.
Oh my God.
The 7-Eleven that's supposed to be open 24/7. I don't think I've ever seen it closed in 25 years. You can't even go in there and get anything now. I mean, literally everything is just closed. It's a total ghost town.
So you think people will go back to work in these towers eventually, or what's your?
They're saying only about 40% are going to go back.
And everything's indefinite right now. That's what there's no like clear end at the
there's no
light
clear
at the
end in sight. I mean, I've been working for all these tech companies for decades, and they're all saying like, yeah, we don't see this ending anytime soon. Just stay at home for the near future. They're saying for at least a year. Yeah.
It's more than a year. a lot of people don't want to go back to work anymore. You know, they go back to work, but they don't want to go back to the office. They rather just stay home and work. But a lot of people are doing that nowadays. A lot of people don't want to go back to the office anymore.
And this is sad. The crime is on the up. This is how we met, just over this memorial. So from my understanding, some guy was let out of prison who shouldn't have committed many crimes. This poor woman was killed in a car accident because he hit her. I think that's the case, but that's cool. People are bringing flowers. That's one bit of hope of society. Look at these buses. Nobody riding them. As you can see, these streets, nobody walking them either. More than anything, is this sort of a documentation of a history. Those are my big negatives. I also have a video about the positives. I'll leave a link at the end here.
Here in New York, a lot of the transit company, they lost a lot of money because people was not riding the bus or the train. Nobody wasn't going nowhere.
And I do want to say, overall, America is a wonderful place. It's a great country, going through an odd time. And another
it's an okay country.
Odd thing is I'm actually more pro-American now than any time before in my life, despite all the division, despite which seems to be all the hate. Look, we're getting gamed. We are getting gamed by our politicians and by our media. Americans, through and through, the vast majority are cool, want to connect, want to get along. Doesn't matter the political party, doesn't matter the background. That is the beauty of this country. We're getting gamed. We're waking up to it, I think. Slowly waking up to it. We got better days ahead. And look, more people immigrate here than any other country in the world. And it's not because it sucks. If it sucked, people wouldn't. They just wouldn't come here.
Yeah.
People move because they want.
That's why I always tell people, like, America is not bad, okay? If it was that bad, people would not be coming here from all over the world. You know, I said this so many times, like, America must be doing something.
Want to better their lives. And so, despite our big problems right now, and I'm not undermining those, and I can be very honest and sober and say, we do have big problems. I believe in this country. Better days ahead. Thanks for coming along, guys. I got a Patreon page. Link at the end here if you want to support the channel. And much more to come about different sub-communities, different corners of the country that I'm going to get into over this next year. All right. Have a great day. Until the next one.
Yeah, subscribe to his channel, okay? Support him. Subscribe to his channel. What's his name? I put his name right. I'll put his name right here. So go check his channel and support him. Yeah. So comment below. Let me know how you feel about this video. If there's any other videos you'd like me to react to, comment below. Let your girl know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see all of the people. Take care of yourself. Bye and peace.